Over the last 72 hours, 5 separate developments across 4 regions have quietly shifted the nuclear risk environment, not enough to trigger alarms, but enough to make future crises harder to control. None of these events, on their own, change the global threat level. Together, they tell a different story. This is the DEFCON warning system. In today's strategic stability briefing, we will be examining developments that do not change the current DEFCON level, but which may contribute to longer-term nuclear risk. At present, we remain at condition green, DEFCON 5. There are no imminent nuclear threats at this time. Let's begin with a development that received surprisingly little public attention. New U.S. defense assessments indicate that China has likely loaded more than 100 intercontinental ballistic missiles into newly constructed silo fields. This does not indicate preparation for immediate conflict. However, it does signal a rapid shift in the scale and survivability of China's nuclear deterrent, a factor that directly affects crisis stability during future confrontations. And this matters for a reason we'll come back to shortly. Following the Pentagon's assessment, China's foreign ministry publicly accused the United States of hypocrisy on nuclear disarmament. On its own, this is familiar diplomatic language. What makes it notable is when it is happening, at a time when arms control frameworks are weakening and formal strategic dialogue is increasingly absent. That combination reduces margin for error. Before we move on, note this pattern: expanding arsenals paired with collapsing dialogue. We'll return to why that pairing is historically dangerous in a moment. North Korean state media has warned that Japan's discussions surrounding nuclear deterrence must be thoroughly curbed. Japan does not possess nuclear weapons. But regional debate alone is enough to provoke sharp responses from Pyongyang, underscoring how sensitive deterrence perceptions have become in East Asia. This is not about weapons being built today. It is about how intentions are interpreted tomorrow. At the United Nations Security Council, renewed tension surrounds Iran's nuclear program. Iranian officials have publicly suggested that nuclear weaponization would be technically achievable if pursued, language widely interpreted as strategic signaling rather than an immediate declaration of intent. Statements like this are designed to influence adversaries without crossing clear red lines, a tactic that adds ambiguity during regional crises. Ambiguity, historically, is where miscalculation thrives. Overlay all of this with a final factor. Key nuclear arms control mechanisms, including the New START treaty between the United States and Russia, are approaching expiration with no replacement currently secured. These agreements did not prevent conflict. They prevented misunderstanding. As they weaken, states increasingly plan against worst-case assumptions. None of these developments require immediate alarm. But taken together, they point toward a global environment with less transparency, shorter decision times, and fewer stabilizing guardrails. And that is where future risk accumulates, quietly, before crises erupt. We'll continue tracking how these conditions evolve. This has been your DEFCON Warning System Strategic Stability Briefing.